Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. So as many of you are probably already aware, in the War Within you will be able to use most of your flying mounts with the Skyriding, which is basically the dragon riding ability. So it means you will be able to use all your different mounts with all the different systems and animations that are similar to the dragon riding system in Dragonflight. But there are a few mounts that are really unique in terms of the different animations that they have when using Skyriding. And in today's video, I just want to show you some of the coolest animations for some of these different mounts. As you can imagine, all the different mounts that have wings are going to be very similar to all the different animations that you have for your different drakes and everything, and the ones that are already available in Dragonflight. But then you have all the different mounts that don't have wings and that have other things. And this is where it becomes very interesting because some of them have really cool animations and some of them, as you will see, are super unique. So what I'm going to do is really just show you some of the ones that I prefer, but of course you can always decide to join with the beta and then to try them out yourself. I just want to show you the ones that are my personal favorites. So the first one I want to show you is the model for the aerial unit R21X. And so this is one of these different mechanical mounts. And I think this one is pretty cool. So as you can see, when you use, for instance, here the surge forward, you will be able to really have everything move on the mount, which I think is pretty cool. Same when you're using the ascending animation. And the one that is probably the coolest is, of course, the whirling surge, because as you can see here, everything will turn like that. And I just really like the effect on it. So this is not the coolest, but this is definitely something I like because with these different mechanical mounts, you really have everything that moves together. And I think this is really cool. So after this mount, we have the Mirmiron's head. And here, this is going to be very similar also to the Mecha Mogul MK2. So basically, I really like this one because as you can see, when you're using this mount, the back part of the mount is really moving a lot. So here, just to show you again, here, as you can see, it becomes this little wheel that will help you to move forward. And so I really like all the animations on this mount. I think this is really cool. So this is, yeah, the type of things that I think are really nice with some of these mounts that don't have wings. And the fact that Blizzard was able to really animate all these different parts and to really make sure that the mount was unique in the way it uses Skyriding, I think is really cool. So after that, we also have the Zereth Overseer. This is the mount that you can get from the Jailer in Mythic difficulty in the Sepulchre of the First One's raid. So this one is not as unique, but I just really like how it looks when using the Skyriding ability. So here, for instance, as you can see, when you go up and you go straight, it just moves a lot, which I really like. But especially the part that I really enjoy is the whirling surge, because as you can see, it moves like that. And I think this is really cool. So this is definitely one of the mounts that I think I'm going to use more often, simply because of all the different animations with Skyriding. And I really think it makes this mount way cooler than with the normal riding. So definitely a cool one as well. One thing that you must have noticed is the fact that when you're using Whirling Surge on almost any of your mounts, normally you will move with the mount and you will turn as well. And I know that maybe for some people that's not your favorite animation and that's maybe not the favorite thing about Dragon Riding or Sky Riding, but there is one model that will allow you to not move like that, and I think this is pretty cool. So this model is the Deathwalker and all these type of elemental mounts that you can get. So for instance, this one is from the Shadowlands Keystone Master achievement. But as you can see, so when you're moving with this mount, you will basically stay on the platform that is on the top. And so when you're using this Whirling Surge, as you can see, you won't move. Only the mount below you will move, which I think is pretty cool. And same when using any of the other abilities. So again, I think this is something that a lot of people might not think is a very important detail, but I personally really enjoy the fact that yes, you just have some of these mounts that are completely different than others. And here in this instance, really, I like the fact that only the mount in itself will be moving, but not you. So just to show you one more time, as you can see, really, you are still there and you're not moving at all. Another category of mounts that I really like are all the different disc mounts, such as for instance the Compass Rose, and you can currently actually get a few other versions of these different disc mounts through the Mist of Panera Remix event. And so these different mounts are really cool when you're using Skyriding or Dragon Riding for a few reasons. First of all, as you can see when you start, you will do this really cool thing where your character will jump and will go in combat mode, which I think is really cool. Also, when you're using this one right here, the surge forward, as you can see, your character will basically push with his fist, which I think is super, super cool. And of course, next to that is just a really nice thing that you can just be standing and going super fast. So this is, I think, a really, really cool mount, and all the different animations are super nice. But especially, I love the fact that, again, your character will simply be pushing in order to go faster, which I think is super, super cool. And just to show you one more time, this is what will happen when you're starting to use your mount. Here, as you can see, I mean, this is really, really nice. So after that, we're gonna have all the different Aurelid mounts, and these ones are really cool because again, you have all the different tentacles and everything. So as you will see, you have some really cool animations with them. So here, basically, there are a few ones that I really like. The first one is the Surge Forward. As you can see, when you're using it, all the tentacles will come together. And yeah, I just think it's really, really nice. Then when you're going up, as you can see, your Aurelid will basically jump like all these different animals do in the real world, which I think is, again, super nice. But then my favorite one is, of course, this one, the Wielding Surge, because here it's just so smooth. It's so nice. So these are definitely the type of mounts that I've never really used before, but I might consider using because of the Skyriding animations, because I think these are really cool and really unique. After that, we're gonna have all the different horse mounts. So these ones are gonna be nice because as you can see, basically your mount is running like it would be running on the ground. But I think, again, the animations are super nice. And as you can see, when you're using Surge Forward, it will basically do this big jump, which I think is really nice. And yeah, I just really enjoy the way it moves. I think that's pretty cool. And then you also have, of course, the Skyward Ascent. And here it will basically do this double jump to go up, which again, I think is super nice. And then for the last one, it doesn't really do anything special. But yeah, the horse mounts are pretty cool in general. Then very similar, you also have the Lupine mount. So here again, your wolf or your Lupine will basically just be running around like that, which I think is super cute. And then again, you have the big jump when you're using Surge Forward, as you can see, which I think looks super, super nice. And then you, of course, also have the Ascent, which again is the double jump, which I think looks super cool, as you can see here. I think, yeah, these type of animations are really neat. And then you have the last one, but here again, nothing too crazy with this one for this type of ground mounts that are simply just flying. Then you have Ashadar and any of these different flying panthers. So again, here it's very similar to just a running panther on the ground, but the animations are still really nice. I really like the big jump. I really like the double jump to go up. And overall, this is pretty cool. So this is already a mount that I know a lot of you are using. And now I feel it's going to be even cooler to use that as a Skyriding mount. And then you just have the Wielding Surge that, again, doesn't do much with this type of mounts. And finally, in my opinion, the coolest mounts that you will be able to use are the different moose mounts. So you have, for instance, the Spirit of Ekero. You also have the Grove Warden. You have another one, a red version. So these mounts are going to be super cool because, again, as you can see, you will have the running animations, but look how they're running. I think this is just hilarious. That's really nice. That's very cute. That's really cool. And yeah, your moose will literally just be jumping around like that. And I think that's super nice. So then, of course, you also have the big jump. So here again, I think that's pretty nice. You also have the double jump to go up. Again, really, really cool. And then the Wielding Surge that's not doing anything really nice. But overall, this is just a simple flying animation that I think is so cool on these different moose. The way it's just jumping around is just super nice. And just so you know, for instance, that's how normally it looks in the normal version of the game and when you're using normal flying. And so as you can see, it is very, very different than when it's just jumping around and moving with Skyriding. And one important thing to remember is that if you don't want to use the skywriting option, you can always switch back to normal flying. And as you can see, you can just click here and then you will be able like that to go back to normal flying. So at least if you're not a big fan of some of the skywriting animations for some of your favorite mounts, you can always deactivate it and then go back to the normal flying. And as you can see, you will be back to really how it is right now in the game. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what are some of your favorite mounts and some of your favorite animations. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime I wish you all a great weekend. Bye!